Gaslighting is a term that's gained real popularity recently, but we toss this phrase around as if it were simply about lying or bending the truth.
In actuality, the term gaslighting refers to a technique of emotional and psychological abuse. It can be extremely damaging to the person on the receiving end. So let's talk more about gaslighting, how to know if it's happening in your relationship, what to do about it. Relationship guru Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal is with us. Kirsten, this is such an important topic because gaslighting in its sort of original meaning is so destructive.
Yes. Yes, exactly. You know, the term comes from, it was originally a play and then a movie wherein a husband was trying to make his wife think she'd gone crazy by messing with the gas lights and moving objects around and then saying, no, that was right there. You know, so making her doubt her own sanity. And that's the power and the destructiveness of gaslighting, is that the person who is on the receiving end of it starts to believe that they can't, you know, it's like, are you going to believe me or your lying eyes, right?
Yeah.
It's like, you know, their sense of reality is being constantly and repeatedly challenged by someone that they're in close relationship with.
And talk about some of the clues that you are being gaslighted.
Yes. So, you know, pay attention to things that your partner might say to you. You're being too sensitive. Why can't you take a joke? You're overreacting. You know, well, if you didn't act like that, I wouldn't have to X, Y, Z, right? So any of those things where basically anytime you express a feeling, it gets flipped on you as if somehow it's your fault, you're the one to blame, right? That is a big clue. The other one is if you're feeling particularly vulnerable, you feel confused, you feel like maybe you are too sensitive. And, you know, I mean, what is too sensitive, right? There's a range. But if you are constantly feeling like what you feel is you're being told is not right, or that what you're seeing is not there, that is a really big clue.
Those are some key indicators. Is this different from like normal deflection, I guess? Like when you're in an argument with someone, I don't know that it's unusual for the person who may be screwed up to like try to deflect a little bit, or is this like a more severe form of that? Help me understand.
Right. So that's a great point, because there is sort of a range of behaviors. And, you know, what I see a lot with my couples, like people disagree on what actually happened. And that has to do more with how our memory functions. Do you know what I mean? Like someone might remember, you know, oh, you know, you said this to me and that really hurt my feelings. And the other person might be like, I did? I mean, I don't remember that, or no, that's not right. Like, simple disagreements are not gaslighting. And that's what's interesting, too, about the use of this term right now, is that can actually blow up an argument. If two people are arguing about something that they just remember differently, which happens all the time in our relationships, then that's not gaslighting. But then if one says, well, you're gaslighting, then the other one can, do you know what I mean? It just can sort of spiral out of control.
And I guess when you have a stronger sense of self and what you genuinely like, what you genuinely feel, what genuinely matters to you, does that help you, I guess, navigate when you're in those situations, having those conversations? Like, wait a minute, no, I really do feel this way, or I really don't think that what you're saying is right.
Right. No, that's absolutely true. But the problem here, so it's really interesting, because people who do have a strong sense of self can also fall into relationships with someone whose technique is gaslighting. And sort of you can, you know, if you fall in love with somebody and you're really, you know, you have this intimate connection, and then suddenly, because this actually happens a lot, where it won't really be there much in the beginning, but then as you get more and more connected, this person will start laying it on, because the issue is power and control, really. And so to sort of keep you in this little bubble of what they believe and what they're telling you should be is reality. And so that actually can happen. And so some of the ways that are recommended to try to get out of it, the first thing is, if you're in a conversation and you feel like you're being gaslighted, the really important thing is to try to take a break from the conversation. Just sometimes you need to leave the room, but basically, like, get yourself out of that situation. The second one is like preserving evidence. Like this, I often see gaslighting occur in the context of infidelity within a relationship. You know, like, you know, a spouse will say, well, but I saw this on your phone, and why are you texting her? And it could be like, oh, well, that was a work thing, and blah, 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 right? Like, you know, I've had it happen where an unfaithful spouse will promise not to ever see the work work affair partner, but then post a picture on social media, and the other spouse is going, wait, but here's your picture.
Right.
So, and no, you're not seeing.
You're not seeing it right. Yeah.
Exactly. And then really at the end, the last two I would say is, confide in a trusted friend or family member, someone that has your back, and to sort of check out, like, here are the things I'm seeing. What do you think? And at the end of the day, really, if it's bad, seek professional help, and you may need to end the relationship. I mean, that's just it. These can be very, very destructive.
Hard to fix. Dr. Kirsten Lind Seal, Gaslighting, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.